Hello and welcome to Bear Atheist. This is the last video we are doing on Frank Turek speaking alone without actually having like a conversation with someone else. The next time we watch Frank Turek, it's gonna be against like a student's challenging him on a view, which will be more interesting than what we've seen before. Not really, but I want to do the first few videos on Frank and just him trying to explain through his PowerPoint, because that's ultimately what we're gonna get when he talks to the students. He's gonna refer back to his PowerPoint and all that good stuff. So today Frank takes on Hitchens. Christopher Hitchens is an atheist, and he said he's stealing from God. So we're gonna see what Frank thinks. Let's get it.
I want to point out that most of what Christopher just said there is pretty much complaints about religion and religious people and has no impact on whether or not God exists. Religious people can be the worst people that ever lived. That says nothing about whether or not God exists.
I'm glad we can agree.
People can do evil. That doesn't mean the parents don't exist. Children can do evil. Doesn't mean the parents don't exist. My kids do evil, but I'm still here. I do evil. My dad's still here. In fact,
His kids do evil. Like, this is the mindset that I hate in Christianity. His kids do evil. Like, let children be children instead of saying shit like, oh, my kids are evil. I'm evil. We are evil. Evil is evil. That, like you're not evil. You're not evil, Frank. Okay, your kids are not evil. Just because you sin, just because you drink some, just because you cheat on your wife, I guess. He didn't. I don't think he cheated on his wife. I'm just putting this as an example. Okay, don't go out here and say that I'm saying Frank is doing this and doing that. No. Just because you do things that your God apparently hate or dislike, go against your God, doesn't make you evil, Frank. That's not what evil is. I don't even think I can get that through his head.
he's sitting right there. What does that prove about whether or not God exists? Let me try and go down some of the things Christopher said. Yes, I am an atheist when it comes to Zeus. But Zeus is not spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, moral, personal, intelligent creator.
He technically is and can be. Okay. The only thing they attributed to Zeus was lightning, and him being the father of gods, or the king of gods rather. That makes him really like a god creator in a sense. He's basically a god, like your God. If he's the king of gods, who are also god of nature, of different type of nature, like the god of flowers or the god of beauty or the goddess of beauty and all that, then he is just like your God. And since we can't see him immaterial, since we can't hear him spaceless, since he can live forever, timeless, since he was here before humans, timeless, like you could smack anything with that attribute. So stop trying to make no sense, Frank. Make some sense.
That I hopefully, at least I thought I gave evidence for, and maybe Christopher will come back to my statements on that.
I'm sure you did not. I am 100% sure he did not. And this is from the pattern that I've dropped from other videos, that Frank don't give evidence. He just make a bunch of claims, whip it out from his ass, and say, here, I'm giving you evidence. No, you're not.
That later, I don't believe in Zeus because I don't think there's any evidence for Zeus, but I think there's evidence for the theistic God. I think he again missed my point. As I
There is none.
said before, I'm not saying atheists can't be moral. Christopher, what he says in his book again, much of it is true. Religious people have done awful things. In fact, Christianity predicts we'll be hypocrites. That's what the church is. It's full of hypocrites. Whenever somebody says, I don't want to go to church, there's too many hypocrites down there, I always say, come on down, pal, we got room for one more. That's what the church is. We're all fallen, we're all sinners. That's why we need a Savior. Because we...
No, we don't. And that mindset is why America is like not progressive as much as it should. Oh, we are sinners and we are failures, we are blah 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 blah. Like, stop trying to like say people are evil. People are not evil. Anyways.
You can't do it. And Christopher said, well, how can you command somebody to be well when they have no capacity to be well? Well, we were well in the beginning, and I'm going into Christian theology here, I understand. I'll just try and...
Which beginning? And I understand that
answer
you
the point.
understand that this is just you going into Christian theology. But which beginning? Which beginning were we ever good? Were we really ever good? Because last I checked, we did not even understand what good and evil was before we apparently ate the fruit based on your Christian theology. So we were not good, neither were we evil, because there was no labels. Our actions were just things we do. They walked naked in the garden. That was okay. Not immoral. Then they ate the fruit. Then they know what is good and what is bad. Then they say, us being naked is actually not good. It doesn't that there's a lot. Doesn't that show a lot? The fact that before they ate the fruit, they didn't know what was good or bad. They didn't know, and they were doing things that were supposedly bad once they opened their eyes and see that it's bad. Doesn't that show something? That it's fucking subjective? Even to Adam and Eve, good and evil is subjective. That's interesting.
Point. We were well in the beginning, but then we messed up, and so God, the great physician...
So no, Adam and Eve, actually, God messed up.
And came back to save us. That's Christian theology. As again, I don't have time to support it. I'm just pointing out that is the theology.
Okay, nobody cares then. What's the point of mentioning it? You have no time to support anything.
Now, Christopher talked about atrocities, but again, on the atheistic worldview, here's the main point. How do you define what an atrocity is? Who defines it? Who has the...
I feel like this guy never took a debate class and he should not debate people. I am sorry. I am not really that much of a great debater myself, but this guy should not debate people. And debate needs to be a class for people to take. You need to understand what is a good source and what is a bad source. You need to understand that the Bible is a terrible source. And people don't understand that. They don't seem to understand that.
Authority to define what atrocity is. The carbon atom? The benzene molecule? I'm not saying you have to believe in God to be moral. I'm not saying that only religious people are moral. I'm not saying atheists can't be moral. I'm not saying atheists don't know morality. I'm saying there's no way to justify what is right and what is wrong unless there's some authority that provides it.
Except you're wrong. As far as we know, we have the entire planet. Humans are operating on a subjective morality. We are operating on a society. Our societies are operating on a subjective morality, not an objective morality. It depends on the society, the time, and that's why it changes. That's why different places have different laws. In a Muslim-populated country like Saudi Arabia, women are covered head to toe in many places. And in America, we don't think that's women or not. Like, to them, that's immoral. To us, that doesn't matter. You could do whatever the fuck you want. Again, subjective, Frank, subjective.
What is the authority? In a materialistic worldview, there is no authority. The carbon atom...
We don't need authority. You don't want to get killed? I don't want to get killed. Okay, let's ban killing. You don't want someone to just fucking slap you randomly with no cause, even with a cause? Why are you touching me? Okay, let's make a law that makes sure people are not just laying hands on each other unless they or given permission to do so. Again, it's really not hard of a concept. Humans develop the understanding to see that we need to cooperate with ourselves because we are a social animal. We need to cooperate with ourselves to benefit our species. Thus, morality, subjective morality.
Has no moral authority over you. And it seems that Christopher goes on and on about how he does not want to be under some kind of divine totalitarianism. That is a moral rejection of God. Where does he come up with this immoral totalitarianism? His worldview does not afford immorality, because his worldview does not afford morality. He has to borrow from the Christian worldview in order to argue against it.
Except he doesn't, because last I checked, morality, subjective morality in general have been a topic in society from the beginning of society, from the development of civilization. Because people understand that if you want people to come together, build a community, then you have to create laws, you have to create regulations that benefits everyone. I mean, ultimately they try their best. You still have people that are, you still have in the history, throughout history, women not given rights. You still have like cases of slavery and stuff like that, and people getting their rights taken away. But we understand that given today, that is immoral. Having a slave is taking away their human rights, which is immoral. Taking away women's right is immoral. That we understand today. Throughout history, many people thought it was okay for women to just stay home and do nothing. That was somehow moral to them. Not today. We understand, well, most of us at least, the people with brain, understand that we're all equal and it's immoral to put down and suppress and oppress women. See? Subjective.
In fact, he has to sit in God's lap to slap his face. Where does he get...
Actually, no. He could just, since it's immaterial, he could just slap nothing. Actually, he can't slap nothing because we have nothing. God is immaterial, spaceless, timeless, everythingness. At the same time, nothingness. So, I don't know what you're even saying at this point.
morality from? Where does he get reason from? Where does he get mathematics from? Where does he get consciousness from? Where does the universe...
Not from God.
Said there are explanations for where the universe came from. Atheistic, I'd love to hear them. I haven't heard one yet.
Okay. So you said because Christians do evil does not prove God. Just because we don't have answer for how the universe... Actually, no. Just because we don't have answer for what was before the Big Bang does not mean Christianity is true. Does not mean your God is true. You are being hypocritical, which you pretty used to, by saying, well, just because you're a bad Christian doesn't mean Christianity is not true. But just because we don't know what was before the Big Bang means, oh, my God has to be the one to do it.
How does something come from nothing with extreme fine-tuning?
Also, how the fuck does that relate to morality? Just saying.
What is the explanation for that?
No,
he said there are arguments.
It's not... It has nothing to do with morality, though, Frank. Nothing to do with morality.
It's for the beginning of life that are naturalistic, not according to the people who are studying the matter. How about Francis Crick? If I can find his quote here. Francis Crick said, "Every time I write a paper on the origin of life, I swear I'll never write another one because there's too much speculation running after too few facts."
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm actually quite bored. And I'm about to fall asleep on you, Frank. You're just saying the same old shit over and over. No evidence. Nothing that anyone hasn't seen before. This guy probably have heard that 1,000 times. I don't know why you would even put this in your video. It just shows that people are bored out of their mind. And this is supposed to be a heated debate where Frank Turek ended it to Hitchens. Uh, as you can see, it did end it over, you know. People were clearly surprised. That's a surprise face right there.
Mark Kirshner of Harvard and John C. Gerhardt of Berkeley said everything about evolution before the bacteria-like life forms is sheer conjecture. Biochemist Klaus Doss admits that after more than 30 years of research into the origin of life has led to, quote, a better perception of the immensity of the problem of the origin of life on Earth rather than its solution. At present, all discussions on the principal theories and experiments in the field either end in stalemate or in a confession of ignorance. Now, I'm not saying that this is a default position, that it must be God. I'm not saying that I just lack a natural explanation for the origin of...
Okay, it's like I missed everything he said. He was rambling and rambling. But finally he said what he was going to say. Yes, that's exactly what you're saying. Because we don't know, you say it's God. It's God of the gaps.
Of life. I'm saying that specified complexity, information, the DNA structure that we all have is evidence for an intelligent being.
No, it's not.
Because information only comes from minds. The laws of ink and paper did not create, God is not great.
Except we don't have, like, codes or language from God, from written in DNA. That's not what we see here. It's just biology. It's just chemistry. It's the universe creating life. It's really chemicals at work here. Okay? And then evolution took over. I'm probably doing this a terrible job. Okay. Let's do that again. We don't see code in DNA. We don't see any writing of God. We don't see something signed by God, say DNA signed by God. No, we humans create these letters that we put in DNA. We name them. These are not codes from some intelligent being. No, it's just nature finding its way. DNA shows even that we all come from one. We all have a common ancestor. Doesn't that like literally go against everything Christianity have ever taught?
There was a mind behind it that brought it into existence. And there's a mind behind DNA.
So I would say this: there's no evidence for technically like a soul or like a mind. It's all like it's all in our brain. We all have one brain. We don't have a spirit, a soul, and then a body. That's just like a Christian idea of like a trinity of bullshit. Again, back to the trinity of bullshit. 3 different people, but one person. That is not how that works.
What is the atheistic explanation for DNA? What is the atheistic...
So he's just basically asking questions. I thought this was a debate where he's supposed to present his views. But no, he's just asking dumb questions. What is the atheistic view of this? What is the atheistic view of that? Oh, you can't answer me? Well, then my God is the answer. Again, you're just hypocrite. You're an hypocrite. You just literally said at the beginning of your entire argument that just because Christians did bad things doesn't mean Christianity is not true. And I'm going to tell you this. Just because we don't know the answer to a question, an atheist, whatever atheist you're talking to doesn't know the answer to a question, doesn't prove your religion. We're not a walking Google. Hitchens is a very smart person. He's a very smart person. As I've seen, I think. As I was told, I don't really care whether he was a smart or not a smart person. To be in a debate, you have to be a smart person. Except if you're a Christian debater. So Hitchens is a very smart person. I think. I did not watch, as you can probably tell, I did not watch that much of Hitchens. I watched a little bit of Richard Dawkins, a little bit of Sam Harris, but I don't really like They call the Four Horsemen, but I haven't really watched all of them altogether. I've only watched a little bit of them. Anyways, back to the point. Hitchens is a pretty smart person, but he doesn't know everything.
Explanation for information. What is the atheistic explanation for all of these 9 things I mentioned? How much time do I have? I have none. Survey said, sit down.
See, this man does not know how to debate. And I'm sorry, Frank Turek, this is sad. This is sad. This man does not know how to structure his debate, doesn't know how to actually debate his point, and doesn't know shit about debate. I mean, that was a shit work. That was a shit work. And I hate to do this and comment on this and that, but like that's not when you debate people. And if this is not a debate, then fucking don't name it a debate. Just name it a conversation. Then this is all okay. You don't need to present evidence in a conversation, but in a debate, you do, with reliable source. That's it for today. Next time you catch me on doing Frank Turek video is gonna be answering some atheist student, question, and those are gonna be fun. We're gonna probably do multiple in one, and it's gonna be amazing.